Hello, everyone. This is Dr. Jack Wolfson, the paleocardiologist, and welcome to another edition of the Healthy Heart Show. And today I am honored, as I always seem like I'm honored to have my guests on, but it's totally true because these are the people that are taking us to the next level when it comes to health and wellness, heart-related and everything else. And I want to introduce you all to Dr. Yasmine Mason, who is in California. And she has a very unique story that I'm going to ask her to tell us about why she decides to become a doctor of chiropractic. And then from there, as a mother and wife to another chiropractor, she decides to open up a retail shop for fermented foods. So without further ado, Dr. Yaz, take it away. Tell us a little bit about your story.
Hi there. Thank you so much, Dr. Wolfson, for having me. I'm also honored to be here on your podcast. So my story is that I am a chiropractor, and I went to Palmer West in San Jose. I decided to go to chiropractic school because I had a myriad of health issues when I was a child, a lot of asthma and breathing issues. And when I was 19, I had a couple allergy attacks. I lived in Vegas where it was really, really dry, and just had a lot of allergies with the dust and the wind. So I started seeing a chiropractor, and he helped me so much. He helped me get off Sudafed that I was taking for a long period of time because that's the only thing my mom really knew to give me. My allergies were just out of control, so she's just controlling it that way. That's all she really knew to do. When I met this chiropractor and started going to him, he really changed my life, obviously, because I became a chiropractor because of it. And it was just eye-opening to me that you could have health and wellness without going the medical route or taking medications, and just healing yourself with supplements and foods.
Well, let me jump in real quick, because obviously what most people are doing is they've got these health issues, their children have health issues, and they go to the pediatrician. And so are you going to the pediatrician at this time? And then how does someone introduce you to a chiropractor? Because obviously most people think that chiropractors are for headaches and neck and back pain. And most people, if you said, I'm going to go see a chiropractor for allergies and asthma, they would kind of question you. So how do you jump from the pediatrician to the doctor of chiropractic?
So my parents never really took us to the pediatrician, right? We were never sick. I grew up on a farm. We raised all our own animals, grew all of our own vegetables. So for the most part, we were healthy kids. We never really got sick, other than maybe a little cold or flu here and there. But my parents never took us to the doctor. I never remember going to the pediatrician for, the yearly colds and flus, antibiotics and things like that. That was non-existent. So I just took over-the-counter Sudafed when I was probably from age 12-ish, when the allergies were getting really bad just from the wind and the dust. And, I was sneezing all the time and just had sinusy stuff all the time. It stems back from my underlying immune system, but that's a whole other thing we can talk about. So I was just taking over-the-counter Sudafed, and that's what my mom bought. She could get it at the grocery store, right? So she would just get that for me, and then I would take that. And I was working at the Luxor Hotel when it first opened, and we had our culinary insurance. So on my insurance plan, I had chiropractic care. So I thought, I'm gonna go see this guy. He was on my list, and my sister had gone to him a few times, and he did a lot more than just adjustments for neck pain, back pain, that sort of thing. He did a lot of nutritional supplementation, a lot of discussing about diet and that sort of thing. So that's why I went to him, and he's the one that actually helped me turn my health around.
It sounds kind of really like a fortuitous thing, because in my opinion, obviously everybody should go see a doctor of chiropractic for their primary care doctor. And there's certainly a lot of doctors of chiropractic that all they do is adjust, and that's of course the founding principles of chiropractic from over 100 years ago. Yet there's a lot of doctors now that are functional chiropractors that really kind of look at more they do a lot more than, of course, just adjust. They get more into evidence-based supplements or talking about lifestyle. And I think that in a lot of ways, you were fortunate, because now you feel better after going to the chiropractor, and then you decide you're going to go to chiropractic school.
Yes. So then I took all my prerequisites. I was going to UNLV at the time. I switched majors to science, and then I finished all my science prerequisites. I was a linguistics major, so I didn't have any science classes to fulfill all of the classes I needed to go to Palmer West in San Jose. Completed all of those over the course of a couple years, and then went to chiropractic school in October of 96 is when I started school.
Oh, no way. You're way too young. That's impossible. The other thing that I'm kind of caught up on this whole thing, Dr. Yaz, is that you talked about growing up on a farm in Las Vegas. Where is this mythical farm in Las Vegas that you talk of?
I lived in a small town about 60 miles away from Las Vegas. So that's where I grew up. That's where I went to elementary, junior high, and high school, a small town called Pahrump, Nevada. And it's about an hour away from Las Vegas. And then when I graduated from high school, I went to UNLV. So I lived in Vegas at that time. That's when I met my chiropractor. That was Dr. Tim Francis, who was the chiropractor that kind of showed me the way.
Got it. Fantastic. Yeah, because I've got family that lives in Vegas, and I'm not sure of any farms that are around there, but I totally get what you're saying. And because Vegas to me is like living on the moon. With no insult to the people in Vegas, it just kind of is reality. But yeah, you're talking about the town of Pahrump and what you had there. Well, kudos to your parents for keeping you out of the medical system. And unfortunately, the world is just such a polluted place, and especially not especially Nevada, but me, I spent many years in Arizona in the desert, and allergies and asthma and breathing problems are so bad there. First and foremost, because of the pollution that's there, and of course because agriculture and the pesticides and the chemicals, none of this stuff is native to a desert landscape. So so now you're at Palmer West, and you're excelling over there, and you're loving what you're doing, and then you're a freshly minted chiropractor. And when do you wind up in California?
We graduated in December of 1999. Derek and I got married. My husband, Derek and I, we met there in school. Then we got married just before we graduated, and then we did our internship and decided to come to California, back to California. For our internship, we found 2 doctors in Nevada. We thought maybe we'd start our practice there because I knew a lot of people there. He's from Santa Barbara, so we weren't really sure where to go. So we found 2 doctors, did our internship, and kind of checked it out there for a little while. 3 months we were there to kind of see what Nevada or Las Vegas had to offer. And then after our 3 months, we decided to come back to California, back to Southern California. So we were looking somewhere to practice between Santa Barbara and San Diego, just nicer climate. And we just saw ourselves kind of liking the California area much better. So we found somewhere we can both practice. There was a doctor of chiropractic that had just retired not long before, and he had a large office where we could both go in there and start our practice. So we did that. We started our practice there in May of 2000, and practiced there for about 3 years, and then moved to our own facility in Newport Beach, and we've been there ever since. So for 15 years we've been at that location. So we've been in practice for 18 years total.
All right, let me ask you then, let me get some gossip here. Why do so many marriages happen? Why do so many couples get together in chiropractic school? Obviously my wife survived chiropractic school without getting married. And of course, thanks, to whoever, made it all happen, whoever put it all together, that Heather and I got together, a cardiologist and a chiropractor. But why are there so many marriages that blossom from chiropractic school?
I think it's the sheer number of time you spend together studying. It's 60 hours a week of schoolwork and studying, and just groups of people kind of with like interests. I think it just stems from there, because there were we do have friends that were married from other classes from our school too, so I know it's super common, which is funny.
What do you think? You think like you were staring across the cadaver lab at Derek, or maybe you were adjusting Derek and you're like, wow, maybe I could marry this guy. Is that what happened?
I don't know. It was more, over time. It was more kind of over time, more than just one little Google over some, dissecting some hearts or something. I don't know. But I don't know. I think it's just common interest. and common, and just the sheer amount of time that you spend with your classmates. I mean, you know that you spend so much time. Some of our best friends to this day are friends that we went to school with over 20 years ago, right? And started chiropractic school with them, and we're such close friends. We see them, try to see them as much as possible, even though they live all over the country and some in Canada, and that we try to see our friends that we just have this bond with. When you go through a program like that, you have a bond with people, and sometimes you find a spouse out of it too, which is really great.
And I think also, I know you would agree, is that there's such a, brotherhood, sisterhood amongst holistic people and people that are really into health and wellness, not like where I came from, which was the sickness model, but the healthcare model. So you kind of bonding over really those mutual interests, and that I'm sure, played a large part. So for everyone, just to refresh everybody here, I'm talking with Dr. Yasmine Mason, and she is a doctor of chiropractic. So is her husband. Her husband is a very busy practice in the Costa Mesa, Newport Beach area of California. And then while Dr. Yaz is a successful chiropractor and she's a mother, then she decides she's going to open up a place called Fermentation Farm. And Fermentation Farm is one of my favorite places in the world to go visit. Like, they can talk about, hey, let's go to the Grand Canyon, or hey, let's go on a trip to Italy. But Fermentation Farm is really just a beacon of health and wellness in the Orange County area. And I know you'll tell me, people, of course, they travel from all over, but certainly from the Los Angeles greater area to come down to your place, because it's so unique. And every time I'm there, it's just jam-packed full of people getting the best food on the planet, and also the best camaraderie. It's just about people that really do get it, that people are kind of bonding in their own tribe, where you kind of like look across, the kombucha area, and you're like, wow, what, that person gets it as well. And I really feel a sense of spirituality, if you will, at Fermentation Farm. So Fermentation Farm, how does that come to be, Dr. Yaz?
Well, as you said, I am a mother of two. So when we decided, Derek and I, we worked and built our practice for about 7 years. And then we had to stop for a minute and say, hey, are we going to have some kids here? Are we just going to work and not ever have any kids? So we had to make a conscious effort. While we're both in the practice and both working side by side every day, you have to make a little bit of a conscious effort. Like, okay, if we're going to have these kids, well, obviously I'm going to stay home with them because I'm not having children, and then having someone else take care of them. That was not, my mom stayed home with us and raised us, because my dad was a busy chef. And, the life of a chef is really kind of crazy. I saw my dad about a day and a half a week for my entire life, right? Because he worked swing shift in Las Vegas and working in the gourmet room in the casinos. I mean, it's a grueling schedule. It's an hour drive there, an hour drive back, and he would work 3 to 11. So he would leave before we would get home from school, and he would get home after we were already asleep. He had Sundays and Mondays off, so we saw him on Sundays, and we saw him on Mondays after 3 when we got home from school. So that life is, it's kind of crazy. So obviously, since my dad was not super present, my mom was home with us, which was great. That was what I wanted to do for my kids too. I wanted to be home with them. I wanted to, when they're in preschool, I wanted to go work in their preschool. I mean, I was envisioning how this motherhood was going to go, and I was lucky enough to be able to stay home for about 8 years with them. Bryn is now 12 and Dax is 10, so they're in school. And when Dax went to kindergarten about 4 years ago, I decided to open Fermentation Farm because my kitchen was overrun with fermenting crocks of vegetables and bone broth and yogurt, fermenting yogurt, obviously making tons of kombucha. I was making this for our patients that had digestive issues. So I started reading Sandor Katz's books and going on his website. 10 years ago, there was really only that, right? That's really all I could find by way of learning about fermentation, was what Sandor Katz had put out there. He's an amazing man and has done a ton for this, this little industry of fermentation and learning how to do fermentation at home. So I did. I learned to do it at home. I thought it was great. I thought all my patients, hey, I can make these for you, but my kitchen's getting kind of full of all this stuff, and more and more people were asking for for these things. That at my kids' preschool, they're like, "Oh, we heard you make kombucha. Can we get some? Can we have some of that fermented yogurt?" So I started making more and more and more of it. And there was one point Derek and I looked at each other. I'm like, I can't even make dinner in my own kitchen now. I have so many crocks and things just kind of fermenting away that there wasn't a lot of room for me to make dinner for our family. So across the street from the kids' school, there was a little pizza place. It was a little tiny commercial kitchen, and they just made pizzas out of there. It went out of business and closed down. It was about 800 square feet. So I thought, what if I just move everything there? That would be perfect. It's across the street from school, and I can set up some tables here. Maybe once a week I'll have a class, and people can come here and learn how to make their own fermentation, so I don't have to ferment for everybody, right? That was the thing. I thought, this is so great. I love fermenting at home. It's so fun. I think a lot of people would think this is fun. So I wanted to have a little shop where people could come and buy it if they didn't want to make it. And if they wanted to learn how to make it, I'd be there to show them. And that's basically what happened 4 years ago. And it's, stemmed into this huge business and this super busy place that lots of people love to come. And it's just very rewarding.
I love it. I absolutely love it. It's such a great story. And, you had the head start, obviously. Your father, as you said, is a chef. And you're doing the fermentation at home. And I'm going to assume, obviously, you recognized early on the benefits of fermented foods, some of the early readings that you did, that you encountered, and obviously how important that is for the children's gut health, for adult health as well. Maybe tell us about some of the health benefits that obviously, as far as fermentation is concerned, and then maybe some of the clients that you have over there at Fermentation Farm. What have they told you?
Well, obviously the benefits are probiotic benefits of all fermentation, right? Even sourdough that's cooked, everyone's like, well, how is sourdough something fermented? That's not probiotic. It can't be probiotic because it's cooked. And so everything that is fermented, that is not cooked, is probiotic. But what the fermentation process actually does is breaks down sugar, breaks down anti-nutrients in grains like gluten and that sort of thing. So fermentation is not just to add probiotics to our diet, it's also to break down these nutrients that are hard to digest. So if we're using a sourdough culture or a mother culture sourdough starter, and we put that with water and flour, we let that sit on the counter for a period of time, the yeast and bacteria that cause the fermentation process in that little blob of dough, it's breaking down those anti-nutrients. Those nutrients are very difficult to absorb and digest. So then when you eat the bread, you bake the bread, obviously it's not probiotic because it's been cooked at 400 degrees. When you eat that bread, it's more readily available. The nutrients in there are more readily available and bioavailable for us to absorb. And then we don't have the anti-nutrients anymore that cause the digestive distress. So think about a cabbage. If you eat cabbage, you can chop up a cabbage and throw it in soup and whatever. A lot of people get a little bit gassy from that because, those certain brassica vegetables, they tend to make us a little gassy. Those elements are broken down by the fermentation process. Again, the yeast and bacteria that are living on that cabbage, once we shred them, put them in a little salty environment, pound the juice out, and let that sit on the counter at room temperature for about a week or so, then the anti-nutrients, sorry, I have another call coming in. Oh, gosh. Sorry about that. Those anti-nutrients are absorbed and digested through those yeast and bacteria in the fermentation process.
Fantastic. So over the years, though, it's amazing how time flies. I guess I was only there maybe for the first time probably 3 years ago, and every time I'm in the Los Angeles area, I can't wait to get over to the Fermentation Farm. What about the clients over there? You must have some regulars that have been there from day one and how they've just recovered their health with fermented foods.
We've had so many. We are a membership-based club also, which kind of brings everybody together as a community. We offer unlimited samples to our members. We have free talks for our members. So we really structured it as a member-based club to really build that community and have the like minds all stand together as one and learn together. So it's been really great. We have over 12,000 members now just in 4 years, which is kind of crazy for our little tiny shop. It's really not very big, but all of these people coming. So you imagine 12,000 people who have this experience of coming to the shop, and saying, yes, I'm down with that. I'm with you guys. I'll be a member. They come in with a myriad of health issues or not. Some people come in because they like kombucha and they want to fill up their growler and they just really love the taste of it, and they can see where it's made, and people really like to look across into the kitchen, see where everything is made right there, with all organic ingredients. We package everything in glass. So some of the things that people have said, the most recently that sticks in my mind, I was doing a kraut class a couple weeks ago, and this man, he's probably in his 60s, he's like, oh, I've got to show you something on my phone. I said, okay. So and this is always, people see me, they're like, oh, let me show you. I got to show you something. I have a story to tell you. So I'm like full of all these little stories of people who've had some sort of reaction, a good reaction or a benefit, to starting to incorporate fermented foods into their diet. So he pulls up this picture of his big toe, his toenail, on his phone. I'm looking at him like, okay, it's all, it has fungus in it, the nail's all bumpy, it looks all weird. And he's like, now I'll show you a picture of what my toe looks like now. And I've been eating these foods and drinking kombucha for about a month and a half. And he showed me, I was like, just the end was a little bumpy and weird, but all the new growth had been replaced by a perfect nail. So he was super excited. He's like, I've had this for years and years and years, and I guess I just had imbalance, and now my system's balancing itself out, and it's getting rid of this fungus. That's all he did that's different is for 6 weeks he's consumed fermented vegetables and kombucha and fermented coconut yogurt. So, things like that, it's nonstop. And my staff that works in the front there, they get to hear these stories day in, day out, too. It's really rewarding.
Yeah, I know for sure. Obviously, the nails are really a reflection of what's going on inside the gut. And when you heal the gut, and as the doctors of chiropractic like to say, we heal the body from the inside out. So when you heal the body from the inside and you heal that gut, and it just reflects as outward as you can get, of course, with that big toe, and whether it's fungal and combined with autoimmune, and how the ability of fermented foods, and of course you guys use all organic ingredients, you put it all in glass. And Dr. Yaz, when I was there, I think it was like the first or second time I was there, and the whole family's there, and my boys are just chowing down on every bit of kombucha you guys have, drinking up all your kombucha. My 4-year-old, I think he must have had like 2 or 3 gallons of your kombucha. While I'm combing through your refrigerator and your frozen cases, I'm just like a kid in a candy store, and I come across the Japanese food called natto, the fermented soy product called natto. And I had not had soy in probably 7 or 8 years since I really got serious, about my lifestyle after meeting Dr. Heather, my wife. And I see the natto there, and I know that the Japanese have been eating it, and I've been talking about it for years, but I never tried it, and everybody kind of gives you like a strange look when you talk about eating it, and ooh, that tastes, terrible, people that have tried it. So what do? I tell my wife, I'm like, I'm going to eat this. And natto, of course, is a tremendous source of vitamin K. It's a natural blood thinner with the enzyme nattokinase. And your product, of course, is organic, and it's in a glass bottle from a company called Nurture out in New York, and you guys carry that there. And I loved it. I absolutely loved this product, and I could easily see why it's kind of one of those secret ingredients why the Japanese live 7 years longer on average than the average American does. I don't know, maybe tell me a little bit about that product, and then give me another, like one of your favorite products at the store.
Well, we source a lot of really great organic products also, because obviously we can't make everything. We're not going to make the natto, right? That's another whole huge process to make that. We don't make koji or sake, or we don't make a lot of the world of fermentation is so vast. It's so massive. We don't make cheese. We don't do fermented meat. There's a lot that we don't do. We stick kind of to the realm of fermented vegetables, turning your regular old, root vegetables and brassicas into krauts and probiotic vegetables in that sort. We make a lot of kombucha. We make jun. We make, fermented ginger soda and root beer. But things like that we just can't make. So what do? We've got to be on the hunt for the best we can get our hands on, because what we make in our kitchen is the best we can do, right? The absolute best, highest quality ingredients. And we try to source everything local as much as we can. We get a lot from local farmers. We're luckily in California where a lot of the produce that we use grows here in California. Some things we can't find locally here that's to the quality that we want, like the natto. We looked for a long time for natto. We wanted it in glass, of course, because we serve everything that we make in glass. So we found Anne in New York, and her company is Nurture. She makes 3 different nattos, one with turmeric, one that's just a plain natto made with the yellow soybean, and then she does one with the black soybean also that is a little bit milder flavor. That black soybean is milder in flavor than the yellow one. But she uses all non-GMO organic soybeans, which are difficult to find, and she does it in the absolute traditional method, the way they make it in Japan. And so the taste is really delicious. I think if you go to XYZ Japanese restaurant and you get natto, they put it with a little bit of steamed rice and some shredded carrots and shredded daikon, so it kind of dilutes it a little bit. That's kind of the way they eat that, that side dish. But you can eat this one, I swear, right out of the jar. It tastes so good. And the texture is a little funky because it does have the strands, right? The yeast and bacteria that ferment that into a super, super vitamin K2 rich supplement. Honestly, that's what it is, right? You're taking that in because you want the K2. It just has to be made properly, and it has to be made with the proper ingredients, and it has to be packaged in glass. So for us, we have such high standards. Sometimes we do have to go to New York to find the best. Our turmeric for our Master Tonic, that's another one of my favorites. Yes, one of my favorite products. One of the most popular products in the shop is our Master Tonic. And if you think about what Master Tonic is, if you look at the recipe for just regular Master Tonic, it's turmeric root and ginger root and some lemon and, some basil maybe and a bunch of other garlic and onion, whatever you want to put in there, right? A bunch of root vegetables and a bunch of aromatics that are really flavorful. And then you take some Bragg's apple cider vinegar, pour it on top of your roots, and you let that sit there for a couple of months. And in a couple of months, you'll have it infused vinegar. All these roots and garlic, onion, lemon, all of that will kind of infuse itself into the vinegar, and then you drink that vinegar. Yeah, the turmeric is anti-inflammatory, and it's a tasty little shot to take for a little bit of immune system boosting or whatever. But as great as that is, if you ferment it and make it probiotic, it's even better. So that's what we did. We took the idea of the Master Tonic, or fire cider, sometimes it's called, and we take all of those roots and we actually ferment them, and then we blend them, squeeze all of the goodness out of the turmeric and out of the ginger and all of the roots, and then we bottle that with a little bit of apple cider vinegar, just a splash of apple cider vinegar to give it that classic Master Tonic taste. But the turmeric is really difficult, very difficult to find organic turmeric. So again, we have that float in from Hawaii. So,
Dr. Yaz, we're kind of dropping the volume on you. I'm missing this. Yaz, you back?
Oh, sorry. Can you hear me now?
Yeah, I can hear you perfectly. My mouth, I'm salivating at all the stories that you're talking about with the food. I'm like ready to jump in my car right now for a 10-hour car ride because as you're talking, and I'm listening, I promise, but I'm also thinking about the turmeric pickled eggs, which are just another absolute delicacy of a food. I absolutely love that too. Of course, it's you guys throw in like some like a little bit of a spicy pepper.
Spicy pepper.
Yeah, and it's absolutely delicious. Even my older son, he loves that too. The younger guy, maybe not so much, but he'll acquire that taste for the spice as well.
Yeah, it's good. Those little peppers are good in there. Those little yellow peppers.
It's so pepperoncini. It's so fantastic to be able to walk into the fermentation farm and know that anything there is on the best diet possible. It's on the organic paleo diet. Everything there is just of the best quality, and that's so rare that you can go in where it's like you don't even have to ask any questions. It's just everything there is on the healthy menu. So kudos to you guys. So of course I gotta ask, what is in the future? Because you got 12,000 members. Your store, every time I'm there, and you guys have done book signings for me and my book, The Paleo Cardiologist. is there, and it's a staple next to Sandor Katz's book, Fermentation or Wild Fermentation, which I've read his book, and I actually about 6-7 years ago I did ferment some vegetables, and it was delicious. My wife, I did it like the second bathroom and almost destroyed the bathroom because I have no idea what I'm doing. And my wife's like, all right, enough of that. Let's just kind of, until you can perfect your methods, let's continue to buy it. And of course, we found the Firm Farm. What is next for Fermentation Farm?
We are in the middle of another expansion. So from that little 800 square foot pizza place that went out of business, we quickly outgrew that space, and luckily next door there was a space available, another 600 square feet that the man that owned that business, he retired. So the landlord said, hey, do you want this space next door? We said yes. So we were able to expand the bar and the retail shop and then allow the entire 800 square feet, original 800 square feet, to be our kitchen. So we were able to expand our kitchen. We expanded the retail, refrigeration, everything into that new space. And then we really ran out of refrigeration rooms for backup, so we had to put a walk-in in. So there was a couple doors down, another space came available, so we took that and just put a break room for the employees, and then a walk-in and more storage. Then another one went out of business, so then we took another space to put our office in there, because now Kelly, Brad, and I, there's just a lot that we do to maintain this whole thing, this whole fermentation farm on the business side of it. So we have our own office now, which is great. And so we're going through probably I think this is our 5th expansion now in 4 years, and we're taking another about 2,000 square feet of 3 more suites that have come available, and we're putting in a bone broth kitchen and more space to store our kombucha as it sits around, because kombucha sits around for about 3 weeks. It takes a long time to make kombucha, but and they take a lot of space too. So that's what we're doing. That's what's next. So by probably March 1st, it should all be completed, and we'll have big, huge steam kettles now to make our bone broth in, instead of our little 6-gallon kettles that we have now. They're just too small. We just can't make enough bone broth to feed everybody. So it's really exciting.
Okay. What about second location? What about franchise?
So interesting you asked that. My best friend just I guess semi-retired from her job. She just was kind of over. She was in financial services for 30 years, and she just decided that she had had enough of that. She and her husband moved up to the Seattle area, and so we're looking at space up there to potentially open another one. And her husband is a super operations guy. I mean, he's had big jobs in Hollywood as far as operations and that sort of thing. So he's our operations man, and he's going to put this all, he is in the process of taking the entire fermentation farm concept and putting it down into some manuals that can then be franchisable. So we're looking forward to that exciting project too.
Oh, I absolutely love it, love it, love it. I hope you open one up where we are living, that's for sure. Anybody who can find a fermentation farm in their area, wow. I would send an email right now to Brad at Fermentation Farm and let him know that you want the franchise in your local area and get it going. It's not going to be easy, but I'm sure it's probably not as difficult as someone like me thinks, North suburban kid from Chicago. But wow, the rewards, and 12,000 members in your area, and just being part of that family is tremendous. All right, I am going to be actually Dr. Heather is speaking at California Jam, February 22nd to the 24th in Costa Mesa at the Segerstrom Center. I envision us going to Fermentation Farm at least twice while we're out there. And anybody who's listening to this podcast, of course, if you're in the Costa Mesa, Newport, Orange County, South LA, North LA, whatever area, it's worth the drive to get there, number one. Number two, if you're at California Jam and you're a doctor of chiropractic or you're into holistic health and wellness, you're going to enter the code Wolfson19 to get a discounted price on your ticket at California Jam, which is just amazing information, speakers, all things health and wellness, and some totally kick-ass rock bands in the middle. But you got to make some time to go to Fermentation Farm, and you will absolutely love it. Dr. Yasmine Mason, Yas, thank you so much for being on this episode of the Healthy Heart Show. Always a pleasure to talk to you, and I will hopefully see you in February.
Yes, for sure. Hopefully the renovations will all be finished and I can take you on the tour.
Look forward to it. Say hello to
Thank
Derek and
you.
the entire family, and tell, of
Will
course,
do.
Dr. Derek, thank you so much for the adjustments to my family when we were in town. This is Dr. Jack Wolfson, the
Yep.
paleocardiologist, another episode of the Healthy Heart Show. We'll see you next time.